the best intro ever.
That was the best ever. We're going live.
Woo!
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro. How you doing?
Good. We are live. I've been doing some maneuvering in my home office in Charlotte, so don't mind the backdrop, but I guess it's the same. I just moved my TV over there because it was
So you got some
doing all that.
flowery
So.
faces or something behind you. I don't know.
Yeah, if it gets distracting, tell me. But it's on screensaver from my I think Roku. I was watching some YouTube earlier.
Nice. Very good.
All right, so bro, we are on episode number 18.
18. Big number.
And we're improvising a little bit, okay? Because It's just you and me, and we're gonna keep doing this. This is awesome. You got your Agile Game Changers going on that's blowing up, and it's so good.
Yeah.
We got Hospiamo going on. You and I put our big brains and our big networks together, and we started a nonprofit company called the Hospitality Industry Impact Initiative, hospitalityimpact.org, baby.
Yes, or HI3 if you don't have a lot of breath to use.
Yeah, I like the HI3. I think it's not the high five, it's the high three.
High three.
So we are so episode it says it's the silo episode, and I love calling it the silo episode because a lot of what we're doing every single week is talking about some barriers to employment, barriers to jobs, barriers to personal satisfaction, barriers to whatever it might be, and helping to knock them down. And that's what HI3 is all about. Is by through education and engagement and learning programs, getting people super excited about the industry.
Yes.
And so we are our podcast here is The People Who Move, and so I'm so pumped because we've been honoring and celebrating people who move. We're on episode 18. We have like 100 more, the people and organizations to go through, and that is a good problem to have because there's so many people to recognize. And so not in a way, but exactly, that's what HI3 is all about. It's a hub of these people, like-minded, and we're calling them, I'm going to give a shout out to Seth Godin, brilliant author, entrepreneur, just speaker. If you got a chance, go check him out on TED Talks and YouTube.
Yeah, big time.
I was trying to learn. What's that?
A big thought leader. He's a big thought leader out there.
Thought leader, yeah. I've been learning, you and I have never started our own 501c3 educational school, apprenticeship, workforce development. Until now. And we've been working on it for 6+ months or so. And so I've been doing a lot of my own learning, and there were many people like Seth Godin, but he said something that really touched me, and it's on our website now. So, and it stayed with me, right? Some things come and go.
Yeah.
He said, one of the reasons why people get excited to give, to make a donation to a nonprofit or whatever it might be, or get involved, to volunteer, it's not because nobody's doing anything. It's not because they're reinventing the wheel. It's not because they're in competition with other nonprofits or anything like that. He said it's people want to get involved because it's people like us doing things like this.
Yeah. They can relate to it.
Yeah. And you can choose, right? Like people like us you're in, agile project management, agile leadership.
Yep.
The powerful in the engineering world, software engineering, up in the Northeast. I'm here kind of powerful, like a strong network in hotels for the past 25 years, hospitality, restaurants, a current part owner of some hotels and asset managers, a lot of different partnerships. And so we're combining this. And we've got a lot of people that very soon are going to be listed and recognized on the website. And they're not there yet.
Yep.
But they have been with us.
Yep.
And very patient. And it's been amazing. Some of them have been on our episodes, right? And so that's the people like us And so doing things like this, what are we doing? We are on the website. It's a vacuum. There's a picture of a vacuum, and we've done lots of studies.
Yeah.
There's a clown. He's got his vacuum. It's kind of cool. So please check it out. I think it's hospitalityimp.org/vacuum.
Yeah.
And it shows you how and what we're doing. We are going. Let me back up for a second. And stop me if I get preachy. I do that sometimes. But
Sure.
You know that I was a highly engaged hospitality manager when I first started I was first promoted to a manager job in 95 at Foxwoods Casino. Shout out to Foxwoods, Mashantucket Pequots.
Woo! Bring it.
They gave me my first opportunity to go from an hourly role to a management role. It was unbelievable. I was 20 years old.
You were trying to find yourself back then, bro, right? I mean, I think that's a key part of the story that we want people to understand, because there's a lot of other 18, 19, 20, 23-year-olds who are in that exact same spot right now. They're like, where do I go? What do I do? I don't want to do this math major or whatever. I don't want to do this, right? For engineering. I don't want to do this. Like, what do I do? Right. And you were lucky because you found a job that like was like, wow, I can really relate to this. Like it became exciting. And you had
I found a job that spoke to me. I was able to, I think my curiosity, I don't think there's a lot of people with as much just pure curiosity for people that are not from where I'm from. Right. I like just like I got to serve people from like Iraq and Iran and like Australia. I'm like, what do you do for dinner every night?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what?
Yeah.
I found that. Yeah. I found that in hotels because they stay for a long time. But you know what I had back then? So lucky. And I've been lucky throughout my career with this, but I had like 5 or 6 bosses.
Yeah.
Supervisors. Tim Brown, Kathy Gross, Tom Allen, Chris Doherty, Chris O'Connell, Sheila Westcott. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody else, but I still remember their first and last name, bro. It's over 25 years ago.
Amazing.
Okay. They were amazing to watch and to learn from. Going from the front desk, which is where I was spending most of my time, serving guests, working team members and stuff, and going in the back office, and we got work done. Believe me, we worked hard, but it was a cool place to be. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they were all like in their 30s. I was in my early 20s, and so I got to see people in a career, in a hospitality career, being a manager, enjoying themselves. And there were very stressful moments in hotels, yes.
Yep.
And there were very stressful moments there, but it's 10% of the time, 15% of the time that emergencies happen. You got to prep for a hurricane, you know, you get pipes blow out and stuff like that. But I got to see them, right? I got to see, and then I was like, I want more of that. And then I got more of that. And then I moved to Orlando and went on my career and stuff. And so, and then I had Bill Henderson there, and I had all these other people that I remember. And so that was then.
Yeah.
Now, nobody's fault, but HI3 exists because 25 years ago, the way that the numbers work, bro, and these are real numbers.
Yeah.
In 1997, there were 37,000 hotels in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there's almost 60,000. It's like 59,000.
Yeah.
So let's say 60,000. So 30,000 in 1997, 60,000 today. You know what engaged and disengaged and actively disengaged is, right? All right. So if you're listening to this and you don't know what that is, just look it up. 3 buckets. And if you're engaged, you are experiencing what I experienced in my first like 4 or 5 jobs during that time. And I was highly engaged. My supervisors, highly engaged. We were walking around at least half the time, looking, you know, if I saw a wire sticking out of a wall, I'd be like, hey, what's going on with that? You know, I don't know how to fix it, but we would pay attention to it.
Yep.
And then people that were reporting to me or my coworkers and peers, they would see me doing that. They'd be like, wow, that's cool. Maybe we could have just helped the building from burning down.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so you see things and you walk around, that's engaged. And there's no 10% raise or 20% raise. If somebody called me and said, hey, you want to come work for me? I would not even take those calls.
Yeah.
Until I was starting to think about moving up in my life. And so that's engaged. The number in 1997 for all of those hotels, we've done the studies, right? We got the data. 40% management engagement at the property level. 40%. And I was one of them. And all my friends today that are in their, mid, late 40s and 50s, they were, and that have stated they were in that 40%. Today it's 7%, bro. In the last 2 years, it's been 7%. Before COVID, it was like 20%. So it's been declining, and now it's at its worst. And so that's what H3 exists to do. And so
let's think about this from a quantity perspective too, because you mentioned a couple of things. You said, so the engagement is significantly lower from 40% to 7%. So obviously people aren't as engaged or not paying attention to wires in the wall and, something a guest could trip over. Like there's a million different things you could look into. So engagement's lower, but you also mentioned earlier is that the quantity of people are lower too in the hospitality industry. So talk about that a little bit. If you have engagement and lower quantity, you're sort of creating a downward spiral effect.
Yeah. So think about it from a guest perspective. You travel a lot. You have traveled a lot. You go to the same restaurants. You try to, you had people 10 years ago. Would answer this question. Was the frequency of you walking into a place like Cheers, right? Yep. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Even if it's a Starbucks that they know, oh, Matt's here, get it ready. Has the frequency of that happening when you're traveling or out and about in a service, getting served or buying a product, has the frequency declined for you, decreased since 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's decreased significantly. There's a couple places like even a local restaurant that I go to here. There's only one person at that restaurant who I see when I walk in now, and there used to be a whole bunch. You used to know a whole bunch of people there. Right now, there's one, and she's even part-time. She's not even there all the time. So, there's a lot less of that familial, like that family word. I think is a good word to think about when it comes to this.
So that's engagement, bro. And engagement is driven by retention, and people, they don't have to stay at that Starbucks or at that restaurant, but if they stay in the industry, they grow and they become more engaged elsewhere. And remember me back 25 years ago, people see that and they're like, man, that person knew Matt walking through the door. They know what he's wanting to order. That's awesome. I want to stay in the industry. I want to have some fun. And so how the numbers work, bro. So with 37,000 and now 60,000, the average amount of people that are call them team leaders, like supervisors, managers at the property level, the ones that are working with teams and leading them and then keeping guests safe and happy. That's always been about 10 for, small hotels, larger hotels. So on average, it's been about 10. And so how that works in 1997, that means 4 people. When you walk into any hotel, restaurant, the average on that is that 4 people are highly engaged. They're engaged walking around, keeping people safe, looking for wires, picking up trash, talking to guests, getting to know them. Hey, whenever you come back, here's my card. Just call me personally. I'll make sure I put you in the right room. That kind of stuff. Today at 7% with 60,000 hotels. Okay. It's 0.7 person. It's less than 1 person that is engaged on average at every hotel across the United States on average. Now, if you go stay at the Disney, right, you're going to have a higher chance at having a good, safe experience. Those are the outliers. Call them. Full service, big, convention hotels where you travel and you're with a large group and you go to Vegas and you're doing, those are outliers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going to a baseball game, travel ball, whatever, soccer ball. You're staying at a Hampton Inn, a Courtyard, a Marriott, a Days Inn, whatever it might be. And this is the average hotel, which, by the way, is 95% of all hotels out there.
Yeah.
95% of all the average. So the 5%, that's not what I'm talking about. So, yeah, that's not good. And so the future.
Yeah. So I was just going to interject, right? You talked about the vacuum. Let's talk about that just a little bit. Like you got a lot of early 20 somethings, age 20 to 25. You don't know what you want, and right now you're thinking, if you were that person walking out, you probably wouldn't be choosing hospitality because you don't think it's an option, right? So imagine, there's a couple things going on here. It's like, we want to help. This is about people. How do you help the 20-year-old who wants something more for their career? They're driven. They want to work with people, but they've heard a lot of stuff about retail and hospitality, like not really a future there, right? What can we do with HI3 to start to share with them, hey, there's a good road here. You travel down this road, we're going to hold your hand, and we're going to show you, you're looking for a good career. Good career is right here. You can't see it yet, but we're going to show it to you.
So there you go. Here's a funny picture. We've been doing a lot of visuals. So, so the how, bro. Okay. So imagine there's a lot of reasons, by the way, and we have the data to show there's nobody to blame. Everyone's working hard. There's a lot of reasons why engagement is at its level that it is today.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Everyone's trying. So, but think about my emotions and my feelings 25 years ago, along with thousands of others. It was the good kind of stressful. It was the good kind of hard work, but really we had fun. And so, I
would say
I've spent the last 18 months. So this is my second year doing it. I got personally engaged with DECA.org, and I went to the youth. So I realized that I wasn't, as much as my career is and working with younger people, really sitting down for 15 or 30 minutes with a young person in high school or even middle school, that I'm not their father, or I'm not their cousin or uncle or something like that. And really find out and pay attention to what they're saying. Okay. And I found that it was most likely a mistake to go out there and call them a target market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to say, we're going after you to get you excited about the business. That's not it. I think I started, and I did not plan on doing this. I started by listening and paying really close attention to what they were saying. And they ask great questions. And so this is not just focused on the youth, but we can use that as a kind of a microcosm of my experience.
Yeah.
And I was listened to. I really felt like I had a voice. There's tens of thousands of people that don't have a voice. And there's a lot of assuming in the world today, where they assume that if I talk to someone, they're just not going to listen and nothing's going to happen. And so I learned that, wow, it was like a fire hose of them sharing their thoughts and feelings about their future.
Yeah.
And whatever they wanted to do, if they want to be a mechanical engineer or a mathematician or own their own hotel someday, right? So I did a lot more listening than I ever have. I like to talk, but I was doing more listening. And so I joined DECA, and I'm a judge for their competitions. It's awesome. And we're going to be doing stuff like that with them. And there'll be a strategic partner with HI3. So this is the how. It's really it goes back to Seth Godin's thing. People like us doing things like this. Now we can spend $10,000 and make up a really big commercial and shoot it out on social media and have me, dressed up like a chief engineer, fixing stuff and having fun and throwing stuff at my coworkers. Hey, look how fun it is to be in this business.
Yeah.
That is what we've been doing. We've been trying to get people excited about it with sending them messages like that. But you know what? the thing that has worked for me the most is going to that high school.
Yeah.
And saying, I want to spend 2 hours. And they're like, what do you mean you want to spend 2 hours with us? I'm like, nobody does that. I'm like, I'm going to do it because I'm very curious if this is the answer. Doing it, actually going and doing it. And so that was the answer, bro. I mean, that is the absolute answer. So the vacuum came in my mind. You need someone, if you throw a turn on a vacuum and just throw it into your bedroom.
Yeah.
It's just going to suck air.
Yeah.
You need someone to actually take it and run through your room to actually go get it. And so this clown is a way to, we insert humor into everything that we do.
That clown is HI3. That's you. That's me.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. And so I did all this on Canva, by the way. I'm getting pretty good on that. This dude's on there. So this is the anybody can go on here and download this. This is the so a vacuum works like this: intake, motor, fan takes everything in, and then there's the exhaust. So this is us. This is us going out there in the field nationwide because we have a strong network, right? We got boots. We got boots on the ground.
We do.
And we're engaging and listening and saying, you can do whatever you want. You want to work, you want to be a mechanical engineer and you want to get hooked up with a hotel owner?
Yeah.
There's a lot of mechanics in hotels.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just go there and do an apprenticeship. So we're going to make it very easy for employers and owners to have their own apprenticeship program. And so we're what's called an intermediary. So one of the reasons why there's not a lot of apprenticeship programs is because it takes a lot of time. Like, and there's some expenses there and there's less people to really focus on doing that. So we're going to do all that for them and go out there with our vacuum and just start. We're already doing it with our podcast. We're already doing it. We're already doing it with a couple people that are in high school. They're part of this program. This is very active. And so the upskilling part, we bring them in, and this can all be done virtually.
Yep.
Very flexible. We bring them in and we upskill them mostly in very basic communication skills, leadership skills, human resources, anti-discrimination, laws, certifications.
Yep.
Like food and beverage safety, food safety handling, health safety, certifications. Those will be our strategic partners that are allowing us to use those platforms.
And how much do these need to have to pay to go through all this upskilling and uplifting and everything? How much do the individuals have to pay? Whoa, zero.
Yeah.
I like it.
And the way that we are funding this, there's three main ways, right? So I'm glad you asked that. So grants, federal and state grants that are workforce development, labor related, training, development, career planning. About a third, possibly more, will be that. And then there's a third of where we're seeking individual donors that are annual givers. Think about what you're doing, and that could be, it's a 501c3 nonprofit. We are fully regulated, and if you and I get hit by a bus, that's okay. This is going to continue on. And so, individual donors and givers. And then there are the corporate, I'm calling them the employers, but they are the ones that are like, we can't find good people, right? We've got good jobs, but so really it's not about good people. And I'm changing that. They want people that are curious and interested. And then then there's an opportunity to engage them.
Yeah.
And then to upskill them, and then to connect them with an employer for, it could be a short period of time. It could be a long period. We also have the mentors here. So I think this is the answer, bro. The answer is that lifelong mentorship and connection that I just named those 5 or 6 people that were my supervisors and bosses back then. I don't talk to them regularly, right? But I remember them. But anytime that I call them or they call me, we pick up the phone and we keep, that's a mentor. I'm dealing with something I need some help in. And so what this mentorship, this is going to be run like a business, right? Doesn't 501c3, it's incorporated business. Yep. And the business is going to have some revenue sharing opportunities for, we're calling them the mentors. So we'll have some employees at HI3, we'll have trainers and operators, and we'll have to pay for platforms and consultants and strategic partnerships and certifications and all that. But the mentors are the key. And those are the ones that we have like 35 or 40 already signed up for doing this. And I'll be a bit judgmental, but it's based on research and data, where some of these, call it 501c3 schools or nonprofits, I'm not saying that where they fail, but where I think they build a ceiling above them. Mm-hmm. And that is with being highly dependent on volunteers.
Got it.
Right. And so we will get volunteers. I mean, you're a volunteer right now. I'm a volunteer.
Yep.
We'll get more. We'll get plenty. But the business model of this is being able to pay these mentors for their time, because they are going to also be bringing people in,
right,
to engage and to educate them. And it's going to be their people, and they're going to stay connected with them, and they should get paid for their time.
Yeah.
And that is where the last thing I'll share, because I think that you got to get going, but that is why we did so much research on Ikigai and the social capital and what is upward mobility.
Yep.
So we did a study, and you can go to the website and download this. But this is the answers the question of, like, what is upward mobility? What is social capital? And visit the website. And we did a analysis of what it is, and there's other forms of capital. So rather than social capital being here on the bottom, you should really start here. And so these mentors are social capital rich.
Yep.
They have those are the ones that you call, and they might not have a certification to go fix your air conditioning unit at your house or your hotel or wherever, but within 15 or 20 seconds, they'll text somebody and say, hey, I need somebody.
Boom.
That's social capital rich. These are the mentors and the people in the field right now that when you hire them to run a hotel or run a restaurant or run a company, finding people is not a problem.
Right.
It's not. They are not part of that 7%. They are part of they're part of that 7%.
Yeah,
but that number is so little. We're looking to expand that. So, and then we went forward into what social capital means and upward mobility in the hospitality industry, and then to go there. And so,
I think to connect the dots on this a little bit, bro, we want to bring back the Cheers era, where when you show up, everybody knows your name, right? There's 4 people who know your name instead of 0.7 of a person, right? That's what we want to bring back to the good days. Not that we're going to go back in time, but we're going to go back to where the people are excited because they're engaged at their job. They know there's a future in hospitality. They found their family. They found their tribe. That's what you found at a very young age, which is absolutely fantastic. One thing you didn't share, but listening and reading between the lines of what you just shared, I want to point out that with the experience that you have and I have, and the leadership team that we've created around us have, we're able to find the healthy family environments and the family trainers, or the effective trainers, the good trainers, right? Because what I'm trying to say is, we've vetted that we're vetting the trainers based on our experience, based on our expertise. We're vetting the hospitality opportunities, the career opportunities, everything about what you said. If it's all good and vetted, then it all works in a positive way. If you go out in the wide world without HI3 and you try to find your way in hospitality today, you're going to be, bumping into a lot of walls and finding a lot of stuff that may not be figured out, because the industry needs help right now, right? But they come in through HI3. We've vetted a clear, safe path for them to walk on and ride on, and we're going to be with them, holding their hand on that path as they go in to find their family, right? They're healthy.
Safe path for that.
Where they go to. So I just wanted to sort of connect it from an outside industry perspective. That's what I see. And by the way, not being a hospitality employee, but being someone who consumes a lot in the world out there with restaurants and hotels and various retail establishments, I want to go in and I want to win too, right? And the way I win is by walking in and having a place that's got high engagement with their staff, because the same people are going to be there when I show up next month, next year, whatever, and they're going to recognize me, not just for that fact, but they're going to pay attention to create a better environment, a better culture, a better product, better services, better guest engagement, right? They're going to care more because they're being treated well. So they're going to care more about me as a customer because they're being cared for. And you and John said something, I think it was about Marriott made that quote. If you can say that.
If you take care of your associates, and that's what they call team members at Marriott, if you take care of your employees, the employees will take care of the guests, and the guests will return and will come back, and don't worry about the profits because they'll happen, because of that. And so it starts with the employee. It's called the service profit chain that Harvard did a huge study like 30 years ago. And that's the thing. It's the hospitality industry, but the hospitality is not even an industry. It's not. It's accommodations and lodging. It's food service. It's tourism and travel. It's event management. You're talking about 20 million plus workers in this industry that we call it. Okay. And hotels are a fabulous entrance point to that path that you're talking about, because there's no business that anybody can run that's not got at least a little piece of owning or operating or serving customers. And a hotel, you get people that stay there for at least 43 hours average. And you got to take care of them. And so I'm going to end it here. We can end it here because I know that you got going on. But the thing that I really was excited about was when you introduced me to Ikigai framework many years ago. By the way, I don't even tell you, I looked up Ikigai in my email. Has anyone ever showed me this before? I got an email from you like 8 years ago. That said, hey, this is really great. So this is a big part of what we're doing. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, please, if you want to get involved and donate, and if you want to be a part of this with people like us doing things like this, a lot of it has to do with the Ikigai framework. And look it up. You can come to hospitalityimpact.org/Ikigai. And you are going to come to this page here. And this is our approach. And we're starting by listening and engaging these people and they will find out through a process, a very fun process that I just finished. And it involves nicknaming yourself. It involves it involves your mentor conversation all about you. And through that, you will be identified with, you will find out what you love, what you're skilled at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. So what happens when you just do what you love your entire life, but maybe you're not skilled at it. That's not that great. So it's a wonderful framework. So thank you for introducing it to me. I'm doing a lot of studying about it. And so, man, we just did that in like a half hour, 45 minutes. So that was pretty good. And
power.
So I think we're going to name a giving day. We've already somewhat launched this. It's ready to go. And hopefully we can get some good clips and some good engagement from folks. If they have any questions or comments, please reach out to us, Matt Zembruski at Agile, or Matt at agilegamechangers.com, Adam at hospiamo.com. We are, along with many, many, many others, sponsoring the launch of this new 501c3 nonprofit educational and organization called Hospitality Industry Impact Initiative. And or you can go to the website, hospitalityimpact.org, info@hospitalityimpact.org. We're done.
You did it. That's a
wrap. All right, bro. I love you.
Love you too. See you soon.
Love you. Love everybody. See you later.